Hey guys, so we are here on week 1 of our month of eating on a budget with all natural and organic where possible ingredients. And it's my goal this month to spend less than $550 for our family of 5. If you haven't watched my previous video on the introduction of this month and what kind of the guidelines that I'm going by and what that all means, please check it out and you'll kind of get an idea more of what the plan is and why this is happening. I just wanted to go over the things that I purchased on week 1 of eating on a budget, and we'll get to it. So first I will go through some of these produce items. So we got celery, radishes, lemons, a whole bag of lemons, whole bag of onions, 2 things of carrots, bananas. Let's do all the produce first, I guess. Our greens for salads and smoothies, and some spinach to throw in a stir fry that we're going to be making. Bell peppers. We love bell peppers, so I got 2 bags of them for the different meals that we're going to be doing. And fresh ginger for smoothies and for stir fry. Avocado, fresh garlic, mandarin oranges for snacking. 4 large seedless cucumbers, and 3 things of mushrooms. I'm going to be making this super yummy mushroom risotto later in the week, and so 3 things for that and for salads, and cauliflower. I think that's all of the fresh produce that we purchased this month. So the next items that we purchased were your pantry items and your dairy and cold items. So we're going to go over those too. We got 2 things of whole wheat for this really amazing garlic creamy pasta that I found that's actually vegan. Taco seasoning for a Mexican dish later in the week. And one quick note about taco seasoning is if you're just starting to try to avoid preservatives and go all natural, these seasoning packets are some of the worst culprits of adding things in there like preservatives and dextrose and lots of maybe nasty things that you don't want. So try to find organic, or at least just go on the back and read the ingredients. All natural olives without any preservatives, curry paste and soy sauce, and coconut milk for a curry that we're doing later in the week. Italian seasoning. I can never say this. Pepperonici? Someone can correct me on that, however to say that. Now the funny thing is, the store that we shop at, Aldi, has these whole and sliced, and this whole variety doesn't have preservatives or coloring in it, whereas the other one does. So I buy the whole ones. Mac and cheese. That's organic. Hot sauce for topping on eggs and such. Whole kerneled corn for making popcorn. Way cheaper, way better than microwave popcorn, and super simple. I'll add a clip later on how to do that. So easy, and my kids love doing it with me. Parmesan cheese for that yummy mushroom risotto. Regular block cheese. Irish butter. I bought this because they were out of the organic butter, and this, at least I know, is not genetically modified feed with the cows, and it's grass-fed. And then for a kind of splurgy snack, I do yogurt, organic yogurt, and raspberries. And then because this is plain, it doesn't have any sugar in it, and we like to top it with either maple syrup or honey. It's like my kid's dream. Frozen peas. And for our smoothies later in the week, pineapple chunks and a berry medley. Did I say sunflower kernels? And almond milk. And then we also got chips and salsa for our Mexican dish. Oh, parsley. And broth. Now, I normally make my own broth. However, because it's the beginning of the month and I don't have any on hand and I'm making soup tomorrow, I went ahead and purchased this broth. It was actually cheaper than I anticipated, so I bought this. And I'll be going through the steps to make your own broth because it's basically stuff that you would normally compost or throw away, and you can make your own broth for free, essentially. So, and then I also bought a whole chicken that we will be using tomorrow in soup and with curry stir fry. Now, Aldi didn't have any organic whole chickens. They had organic chicken breast. However, because I'm making broth and because the chicken breast was wicked expensive, I opted for the all-natural chicken with that hasn't been fed antibiotics or anything. So this is the only meat I bought for the week. I think that's everything, hopefully. Now the total that I spent for the month, or not for the month, for the week, I spent $92.22 at Aldi, and I spent $17.84 at Meijer. Now, I did not purchase flour or yeast from the store today because I had these on hand. However, I did look at the price for both of these to calculate that in for the week's total, because maybe you don't have flour on hand, or maybe you want to buy the organic flour instead of the bleached $1 for a 5-pound bag flour. So with this actually calculated in as well, my total for the week came to $116.73. And then next I'm going to go through all of the different meals that we are doing for the week and how we actually use these up. So here are the meals that we made for week 1. For breakfast this week, we had 3 mornings that we did overnight oats. 1 morning that we did oatmeal. Inserted here is a picture of what we actually use in our oatmeal, and it's just regular cooked oats with chia seeds, cinnamon, chopped walnuts, chopped apples, and typically we also like to add banana as well, but not always. We had 1 morning where we did smoothies, and this was not enough for my kids that day, so I also cooked 1 egg for each of us, and my kids also ate leftover overnight oats that were in the refrigerator. Apparently they were super hungry that morning. We had 1 morning where we had omelets that had black beans, pepper, onion, and cheese in them. And we also had an orange with our omelets. Now for the smoothie, I typically always do the same smoothie. We're a little bit of creatures of habit around here when it comes to that. So all I do for the smoothie is greens. This time I had the spring mix greens, and I also used up some spinach that I had left from meals earlier in the week. I juice lemon into the blender and add almond milk and water. Then I add ginger, bananas, pineapple, and I used about half of the bag here. I also add the berry medley and chia seeds. And then I make sure that's all lovely and blended. And then I chopped nuts for the top of it. I tend to like a little crunch when I'm eating my smoothie. Obviously, if we make this a drinking consistency, then we don't do the chopped nuts. And for snacks this week, and for every week in the future, our snacks are going to be the same, with the option of popcorn, carrots, bananas, apples, or mandarin oranges. This week, I also did the yogurt and frozen raspberries. So for day 1, the lunches were packed lunches because my kids go to a homeschool co-op on that day, and my husband was working. So we just did sliced cucumbers, carrots, cheese, walnuts, and an orange. For dinner that night, I cooked the entire chicken that I bought and used part of it for a chicken and rice soup. I did also that evening make bone broth with the carcass of the chicken. For day 2, we made a loaded salad. I love a salad that has a ton of toppings, so that's what we did. And I meant to make hard-boiled eggs, but they didn't cook long enough, so they were kind of like soft, medium-boiled eggs, which were actually pretty good. On the salad, we had cucumber, mushroom, radish, peppers, carrots, and sunflower seed. Now for all of our salads this month, I'm making our own salad dressing. And I do this for quite a few reasons. First of all, because it's cheaper than buying an organic or all natural dressing from the store. And it's super, super easy. It can be done in seriously like 3 minutes. So all I did for the dressing was olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and salt and pepper, and minced garlic. And then I just shake it. And it's typically about, I don't even follow a recipe anymore. I kind of just dump it in and then I taste test it. But it's typically probably like 2/3 oil and about 1/3 balsamic vinegar. Now my husband will just literally drizzle these things on his salad, but I like to shake it and have more of an emulsified version of the dressing. For dinner that night, we had a curry stir fry with rice. And the recipe, I'm gonna link all of the recipes for the dinners that I made down below if I don't go into detail on them. But for this recipe, I pretty much just made the dressing from the recipe, and I used bell peppers and onions. And then I added some chicken from our cooked chicken from the day before, and I used spinach as well, very finely diced. I find that if I cook spinach, I like to dice it fine. I can get more in it that way, and my kids don't even realize it's there. It's like adding an herb, and it's great. On day 3, we had the leftover chicken and rice soup. Now there wasn't quite enough for us to eat as a family, and so I ended up cooking more carrots and added those to the rice and chicken soup, and it worked out great. We also had sliced apples with our soup. For dinner that night, we did the garlic pasta with peas. This I also added spinach to as well. For day 4, for lunch, we had leftover pasta and carrots and cucumbers. For dinner that night, we had mushroom risotto and cauliflower. On day 5, we had mac and cheese with carrots and cucumbers. Now, my son is learning a lot of things in the kitchen, and one of his goals is to learn a meal for every meal of the day, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And currently he's learning how to make mac and cheese and a side. So Fridays is his gig, and this is what he prepared for us. That evening on day 5, we actually had a friend's birthday party that we attended, and so we did not have to make dinner that evening. So day 6 for lunch, we had some leftover mushroom risotto and a little side salad. It was just the spring green mix with sunflowers on top and that homemade dressing. So for dinner for day 6, we had rice and beans. And I really love this dish. It's super easy, super quick, and my family all really likes it too. Typically when I cook the rice, I will add garlic or peppers or onion or something to make it a little bit more flavorful. I usually always also cook it in bone broth. And then I topped it with black beans, which I used the taco seasoning in with as well. And then we just topped it with peppers, avocado, cheese, salsa, and chips on the side. That day, I had cooked the black beans, I had cooked chickpeas that I was gonna need for future meals, and I also made bread. And if you haven't checked out the video on the homemade bread recipe, be sure to check that out. It is so, so simple and so delicious. The last day for week 1, we had leftover rice and beans for lunch, and for dinner, we had another loaded salad with peppers, pepperoncini, cucumbers, radish, olives, chickpeas, sunflower seeds, and then we had a garlic parmesan bread for the side. A couple notes. My husband typically always brings leftovers for lunch. Now, if I pack lunches for my kids for the day, then I'll usually always pack him the same lunch as well. But he kind of scavenges and gets whatever he can out of the refrigerator for his lunch. Also, at the end of this week, I'm not sure what it was, but I felt like it was just a really heavy week. We had a lot of meals where we had pasta or heavy rice dishes, and so in future weeks I tried to reduce our the heaviness of it and increase our vegetables as well. I did notice there was some meals where I just felt like we did not have enough vegetables for our family. So that wraps up week 1. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and then click subscribe to make sure that you're notified when I publish the following weeks of this month's Eating Whole Healthy Foods on a Budget. Thanks for watching.